Let me tell you something that might shake you. Being nice is not why you retired. Being nice is not why you're stuck. Being nice is not why you feel invisible. You're exhausted because you've been betraying yourself for approval. In 2026, nice is the new prison. And if you don't break out, you will spend another year watching your life pass you by while everybody else eats off your table. So listen closely, not emotionally, strategically, because this isn't about becoming cruel. This is about becoming real. Let me say this in a way that cuts clean and deep. Most people who call themselves nice are not kind. They are afraid. Afraid of tension, afraid of disapproval, afraid of what might happen if they speak their truth out loud. Nice becomes a costume they put on every morning before stepping into the world. A smile to hide discomfort, a yes to avoid conflict, a laugh to smooth over disrespect. And the tragedy is this: after wearing that mask long enough, they forget who they are underneath it. They confuse being agreeable with being good. But goodness that comes from fear is not virtue, it's survival. And survival mode is not where greatness lives. If you're honest with yourself, you'll see it. The moments you bite your tongue, the moments you swallow your needs, the moments you shrink your opinion to keep the peace. That's not peace, that's quiet desperation. Nice behavior often looks noble on the surface, but underneath it is a constant negotiation with anxiety. You're not asking, what do I believe? You're asking, what will keep me safe? Safe from rejection, safe from judgment, safe from being labeled difficult. And so you bend, you soften, you adapt, you become whatever version of yourself you think the room will accept. But here's the cost nobody talks about. Every time you betray your truth to maintain harmony, you fracture your self-respect. And self-respect is not something you can fake. You feel it when it's gone. You feel it in your exhaustion, in your resentment, in that quiet anger that shows up when you're alone at night wondering why you're giving so much and receiving so little. Fear-based niceness drains the life out of you because it asks you to disappear slowly, politely, without complaint. Understand this clearly. Fear doesn't always scream. Sometimes it whispers, don't say that. Don't rock the boat, just let it go. It's not worth the argument, and you listen over and over again until one day you don't even recognize your own voice anymore. You become fluent in silence. You become skilled at minimizing yourself. You become praised for being easy, agreeable, low maintenance. But easy people are easy to ignore. Easy people are easy to overlook. And deep down you know it. That's why being nice doesn't bring peace. It brings bitterness. Because your spirit knows you were built for more than comfort. You were built for truth. And truth has weight. Truth has friction. Truth doesn't always feel good, but it always feels right. Fear-based niceness also creates a dangerous illusion that if you are good enough, patient enough, understanding enough, people will eventually treat you better. That's a lie. People don't change because you tolerate mistreatment gracefully. They change when the rules change. They change when access is limited. They change when behavior has consequences. When you stay nice in the face of disrespect, you are not being loving, you are being permissive. And permissiveness teaches people that your boundaries are optional, that your needs are negotiable, that your feelings come last. You might call it compassion, but your nervous system knows the truth. It knows when you're abandoning yourself, and it keeps score. That score shows up as burnout, anxiety, and that deep sense of being unseen even when you're surrounded by people. There is a difference, an enormous difference, between kindness and niceness. Kindness is grounded. It comes from strength. It can hold discomfort without collapsing. Niceness is reactive. It's fragile. It depends on external approval to survive. Kindness says, this is who I am and I can still care about you. Niceness says, please don't leave me. One is rooted in self-trust. The other is rooted in fear of loss. And here's the hard truth. If your identity depends on being liked, you will always be controlled by the room, the loudest voice, the most demanding personality, the person most willing to withdraw approval. Fear-based niceness hands your power away piece by piece, then wonders why you feel powerless. So if you're ready to stop being nice, it starts here, with honesty. Brutal, compassionate honesty with yourself. Ask yourself why you say yes when you want to say no. Ask yourself why you apologize when you've done nothing wrong. Ask yourself who benefits from your silence. Because fear loses its grip the moment it's exposed. And when you see niceness for what it really is, not virtue but avoidance, you gain a choice. You can keep hiding or you can stand. You can keep pleasing or you can start respecting yourself. The world may resist the shift at first. People always do when you stop being predictable. But the right people will rise to meet you, and the wrong ones will fall away. That's not loss, that's alignment. When you stop wearing fear as kindness, you don't become harder. You become truer, stronger, and finally free. Every relationship you have is a classroom, whether you realize it or not. Every interaction is a lesson. Every response you choose is instruction. People are not guessing how to treat you. They are watching carefully. They observe what you allow, what you correct, what you ignore, and what you tolerate with a smile. And from those observations, they draw conclusions. When you let disrespect slide to keep the peace, you teach people that peace matters more to you than dignity. When you overextend yourself without acknowledgement, you teach people that your time is unlimited and your needs are optional. This isn't about blame, it's about awareness. Because once you understand that your behavior is a curriculum, you realize you are either educating people to respect you or training them to take advantage of you. Most people don't wake up intending to cross your boundaries. They simply follow the path of least resistance. And when resistance is absent, the line keeps moving. You say it's fine when it's not. You say no worries when you're deeply bothered. You say I understand when what you really feel is hurt. Each time you do that, the message is clear. This behavior has no consequence here. And human beings are excellent pattern learners. If something works once, it will be repeated. If it works twice, it becomes a habit. If it's never challenged, it becomes your identity in their eyes. Suddenly, you're the one who always gives, the one who always waits, the one who always forgives. Not because you're strong, but because you never drew the line. There's a dangerous myth that boundaries push people away. The truth is the opposite. Boundaries don't destroy healthy relationships, they reveal unhealthy ones. When you finally say that doesn't work, or me, you see who respects you and who resents you. And resentment is information. Anyone who benefits from your lack of boundaries will feel threatened the moment you create them. They may guilt you, they may accuse you of changing, they may say you're being difficult, selfish, or cold. But what they're really saying is, I preferred you when you were easier to control. And that's not love, that's convenience. Respect doesn't disappear when you set a boundary. It either rises to meet it or exposes itself as something else entirely. Teaching people how to treat you requires consistency, not cruelty. It's not about exploding after months of silence. It's not about delivering ultimatums soaked in resentment. It's about clarity in the moment. Calm, firm, unapologetic clarity. It's saying, I'm not available for that. It's saying, that tone isn't okay with me. It's saying, I need time to think about this. No long explanations, no emotional essays, no courtroom defense of your worth. The more you explain, the more you invite negotiation. And your dignity is not up for negotiation. When your words align with your actions, people adjust. They always do. Because clarity is uncomfortable at first, but confusion is exhausting forever. One of the hardest shifts you will make is realizing that being understanding is not the same as being self-erasing. You can empathize with someone's pain and still protect your boundaries. You can love someone deeply and still say no. You can be compassionate without being available for mistreatment. But when you confuse empathy with endurance, you teach people that your emotional capacity has no limits. And that's how you end up drained. That's how you end up carrying emotional weight that was never yours to hold. Healthy people respect limits. Unhealthy people test them. And how you respond to that test determines everything that comes next. The moment you change how you teach people to treat you, your life begins to reorganize itself. Conversations shift. Dynamics change. Some relationships deepen because they are finally honest. Others fade because they were built on your silence. And that's not something to fear. It's something to welcome. Because you are not here to be universally liked. You are here to live with integrity. And integrity demands alignment between what you feel, what you say, and what you allow. When those three come into harmony, you stop feeling invisible. You stop feeling used. You stop feeling small. Not because the world suddenly became kinder, but because you finally showed it where the line is. When you stop teaching people that you will accept less than you deserve, you teach yourself that your worth is not up for debate. And everything changes from there. There is a painful truth most people avoid because it shatters a comforting illusion. Being nice does not make you respected. It makes you convenient. And convenience is not honor. It is utility. Nice people are often praised but rarely protected. Complimented but not considered. Included but not valued. They are the ones everyone leans on and no one stands up for. And deep down, they feel it. They feel the imbalance in every interaction where their generosity is assumed, their time is taken for granted, and their voice is treated as optional. Respect does not grow in the soil of constant agreement. It grows where there is clarity, consistency, and strength. Without those, niceness becomes an open invitation to be used. Manipulation doesn't always look sinister. Sometimes it looks like familiarity. Sometimes it looks like charm. Sometimes it looks like someone who just needs a little more from you. And because nice people are driven by the desire to be seen as good, they become easy targets. They explain too much. They justify their decisions. They soften their boundaries so no one feels uncomfortable. But discomfort is not danger. Discomfort is often the price of honesty. Clear people understand this. They don't rush to fill silence. They don't apologize for existing. They don't hand out access before trust is earned. They know that when you are clear, you are predictable in the best way. People know where you stand. And when people know where you stand, manipulation loses its power. Clarity is not loud. It doesn't need aggression to survive. It doesn't need to prove itself. It simply is. A clear person can say no without anger and yes without guilt. A clear person does not collapse under pressure or bend under emotional blackmail. They are not controlled by fear of being misunderstood. They understand that misunderstanding is inevitable when you stop performing. And they accept it because clarity is not about being liked. It's about being aligned. When your words match your actions and your actions match your values, people either respect you or remove themselves. Both outcomes are victories. Confusion keeps people guessing. Clarity lets them decide. Nice people often confuse empathy with obligation. They feel responsible for other people's emotions, reactions, and comfort. And that responsibility becomes leverage. Someone is upset, so they cave. Someone is disappointed, so they compromise. Someone withdraws affection, so they chase. That's not love, that's control through emotional pressure. Clear people recognize this pattern immediately. They don't absorb emotions that don't belong to them. They don't fix feelings at the cost of self-respect. They can witness someone's disappointment without trying to rescue them from it. And that ability to let others feel what they feel without abandoning yourself is where real power lives. Respect follows those who honor themselves first. Not arrogantly, not cruelly, but firmly. When you stop over-explaining, people stop overreaching. When you stop justifying your boundaries, people stop testing them. When you stop negotiating your standards, people either rise or leave. And that shift can feel lonely at first. Because you are no longer performing. You are no longer bending. You are no longer available for manipulation disguised as need. But in that space, something solid forms. Self-trust. And self-trust is magnetic. People may not always like a clear person, but they will always know where they stand with them. And that certainty commands respect. The moment you choose clarity over niceness, your life simplifies. Drama fades because it feeds on ambiguity. Manipulation weakens because it thrives on guilt. Relationships become cleaner, even when they are challenging. You stop rehearsing conversations in your head. You stop carrying resentment in silence. You stop feeling like you're constantly managing other people's expectations. And in that freedom, you realize something powerful. Respect was never something you had to demand. It was something you had to embody. Clarity isn't a personality trait. It's a decision you make every day to honor your truth without apology. When you stop trying to be nice and start being clear, you stop being used and start being respected. And that shift changes everything. There comes a moment in every life when comfort becomes more dangerous than fear. Most people never recognize it because comfort doesn't feel like a threat. It feels familiar. It feels safe. It feels like staying quiet even when something inside you is burning to speak. It feels like keeping the dream small so disappointment won't hurt as much. And niceness thrives in that space. Nice tells you to wait your turn. Nice tells you not to ask for too much. Nice tells you to be grateful for what you have, even when you know you're capable of more. And slowly, without realizing it, nice becomes the ceiling you keep hitting. Not because the world won't let you rise, but because you've been trained not to reach too high. Every next level of your life demands a version of you that your current habits cannot support. Growth requires friction. Expansion requires risk. And niceness is allergic to both. Nice wants harmony at any cost. Nice wants approval before action. Nice wants permission slips from people who are just as scared as you are. So you postpone. You soften why? Our ambition. You explain your dreams instead of pursuing them. You wait for the perfect moment, the perfect confidence, the perfect validation. But the truth is this: your next level is not waiting for you to feel ready. It's waiting for you to be brave enough to disappoint the version of yourself that's settled. Niceness keeps you trapped in rooms you've outgrown. You feel it when conversations no longer inspire you, when environments start to feel heavy, when you sense that staying requires you to pretend. But instead of leaving, you negotiate with your discomfort. You tell yourself it's loyalty. You tell yourself it's patience. You tell yourself it's maturity. But often it's fear wearing a polite smile, fear of being judged, fear of being talked about, fear of being seen as ungrateful for wanting more. And so you stay even when staying costs you momentum, even when staying costs you belief, even when staying costs you time, your most valuable currency. There is a version of you that cannot exist if you remain nice. A sharper version, a bolder version, a version that speaks before fear edits the sentence. That version doesn't ask for permission. That version doesn't explain their ambition to people committed to misunderstanding them. That version understands that not everyone is supposed to come with you. And that's not cruelty, that's clarity. Growth is selective by nature. Elevation changes your language, your pace, your priorities, and niceness will try to guilt you for that. It will whisper that you're changing, that you're becoming different, that you're leaving people behind. But evolution always looks like abandonment to those who refuse to grow. Your next level also demands honesty, especially the uncomfortable kind. Honesty about what you want. Honesty about what no longer works. Honesty about the fact that being agreeable has kept you liked but not fulfilled. Nice avoids these truths because they create tension. But tension is the birthplace of transformation. Without it, nothing shifts, nothing breaks, nothing opens. The life you say you want on the next level requires decisions your current comfort zone cannot understand. It requires saying no when it would be easier to say yes. It requires choosing progress over peace, purpose over popularity, truth over applause. And that choice will isolate you at times, not because you're wrong, but because you're rising. The greatest lie niceness tells you is that you can grow without losing anything, that you can ascend and still be accessible to everyone, that you can evolve and still be palatable. But growth is not polite. It rearranges your life. It exposes misalignment. It challenges people who benefited from the old version of you. And when that happens, nice will try to pull you back down by calling it selfish. But choosing yourself is not selfish, it's necessary. You cannot build a bigger life with smaller boundaries. You cannot step into your next level while carrying the weight of everyone else's expectations. Something has to be released for something greater to be received. When you finally let go of niceness, you feel the shift immediately. Your decisions become cleaner. Your energy becomes sharper. Your goals stop feeling like fantasies and start feeling like plans. You stop asking, what will they think? And start asking, what will it cost me if I don't do this? And that question changes everything, because the cost of staying nice is often invisible until it's too late. It's the years you didn't claim, the chances you didn't take, the voice you didn't use, and once you see that clearly, there's no going back. You don't become louder, you become truer. You don't become harder, you become more precise. You don't lose yourself, you finally meet yourself. Your next level isn't blocked by lack of talent, luck or timing. It's blocked by the version of you that's still trying to be nice instead of being real.